going to continue with our review of some music theory thing. Now, if you're a flute player or a higher instrument player, this might be tough for you, but it's something that you might need to know. Today, we're going to talk about the treble clef, the bass clef, and some things you definitely need to know to further your education in music theory, and then you'll know what you're doing when you play your instrument. Also, we're going to have some musical math in there, some more musical math problems, so get ready for that. And then we'll do a really cool Kahoots thing, and I'll bet this time it'll be a lot more fun because you'll be able to see everything. All right? So here we go. Now, the treble clef, don't forget, is the G clef. It is just a fancy letter G, and it shows you where G is on the staff. Here is a treble clef. Now, the bass clef is actually a fancy letter F. Now, don't forget, over 200 years ago, this is how they wrote the letter F. And this is how they wrote and the treble clef is how they wrote the letter G. So here is the bass clef. This is what it looks like, and this is really, literally, the letter F. And it shows you where F is on the staff. Excellent. Now, the next thing that I want you to know about is the lines and the spaces on the bass clef. So here is a picture of the lines and the spaces on the bass clef. So I'm going to be asking these questions. So here is the diagram. Now, you remember from our last time, a double bar line at the end of a song means to end the song. But a double bar line with those two little dots in front of it is a repeat sign. So here is what a repeat sign looks like. Next, we're going to talk about ties and slurs. There's a big difference. Now remember, a tie ties two of the same note together. So let's say you have a C and another C and you want to hold them for a really long time, you'll tie them together. Now a slur is when you want to bring the notes together and make them flow like this, okay? Kind of funny, but a slur actually does that. So a slur is when you have different notes and they just want you to kind of meld them together. Whereas a tie, you're tying the notes together and you're making them last longer, okay? So remember, a tie is two of the same notes, again, the same notes tied together, and a slur is different notes that are blended together. So there's a big difference, okay? Now, let's get into our dynamics. Dynamics are the louds and the softs of music. Now, don't forget, all of the language that we talk in music is Latin. That's an important thing, going to be on the quiz. Latin is the language that we're speaking when we're talking about music, because back in the olden days in Europe, where the center of music was, the main language was Latin, so you had to know that. So here's the thing. When we talk about super, super, super quiet, we have two letter P's. It's two P's. Here's what it looks like. That means pianissimo, which means super, super soft. Super soft. Then we have just one P, which is piano, which is just soft. Then we have mezzo piano, which is just a little bit louder. Then we have what we call forte, which is loud. That's about, normal volume, like what I'm talking now. Then we have mezzo forte, which is a little bit louder. And then we have fortissimo, which is super loud. okay, and intense, all right? So those are your dynamics. Now remember, dynamics give a song its personality, right? So if sometimes we're quiet and then it gets really loud, that gives you some personality, okay? So that is what that's all about. Then we have some musical math. So I'm going to give you a series of problems, if you will, and here they are. Ready? Okay, and then you can kind of think about these on your own, and then when we do our live thing, we'll take our quiz, and these will pop up again. So you got to remember, they might not be in the same order when we do them on the Kahoots thing. So get ready. Here they come. All right, the very first math problem is what's a quarter note plus a quarter note plus a half note? Our second one is a quarter note, a double eighth note, plus a half note. Our next one is a whole note plus a half note. Our next one is a whole note plus a half note plus an eighth note. Our next one is an eighth note plus a quarter note. And the very last one, this one's tricky, double eighth note plus an eighth note plus a quarter note. So be thinking about these things so that you can be on your game for our next live meetup.